everyone. I am Jasmine Usman and I'll be discussing the lines. Elements and principles of art are being introduced in Module 1. Arts in the Philippines. In Module 1, the elements and principles of art is introduced to describe the various contemporary art forms from the regions of the Philippines, generally from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. The elements of art are space, line, shape, and form, color, value, and texture. Meanwhile, the principle of arts are proportion, harmony, variety, movement, rhythm, balance, and emphasis. Now let's discuss these elements and principles of art further. Now let's start with elements of arts. Number 1 is the line. An element of art that is used to define shape, contours, and outlines, also to suggest mass and volume. It may be a continuous mark made on a surface with a pointed tool or implied by the edges of shapes and forms. Line may come into two characteristics, which are the form curve, dotted or broken lines, and direction vertical, horizontal, or diagonal lines. Different characteristics of lines may convey different meanings. If we look at the meaning of the line, we can say that this statement is explaining the concept of line as one of the elements of art. It describes how lines are used to define shapes, outlines, and contours, as well as to suggest mass and volume in artwork. Lines can be created using various tools like pencils or brushes, or they can be implied by the edges of shapes and forms. The statement further elaborates on how lines can have different characteristics, such as their form, which are the curve, dotted, broken, and direction, which are the vertical, horizontal, diagonal, which can convey different meanings or emotions in art. For example, a straight vertical line might represent stability or strength, while a diagonal line could suggest movement or tension. It's stated there that different characteristics of lines may convey different meanings. So, in simpler terms, the statement is highlighting that the different characteristics of lines, such as whether they are straight or curved, solid or broken, and their direction can communicate different ideas or emotions in art. For instance, a straight, horizontal line might convey a sense of calmness or stability, while a diagonal line could evoke tension or excitement. By understanding these characteristics, artists can use lines strategically to express specific messages or moods in their work. As I mentioned earlier, different characteristics of lines may convey different meanings. Now let's start with horizontal line. Horizontal line creates an impression of serenity and perfect stability. It means that horizontal lines, due to their orientation parallel to the ground, evoke a sense of calmness and stability. When we observe horizontal lines, we often associate them with the horizon, the flatness of the earth, or the stillness of bodies of water. These associations contribute to the perception of serenity and perfect stability. In art and design, the deliberate use of horizontal lines can convey a sense of peace, balance, and harmony, creating a visually soothing effect for the viewer. The next is vertical line. Vertical line creates an impression of strength and perfect stability. Vertical lines, being perpendicular to the ground, convey a sense of upward movement and stability. In nature, trees, tall buildings, and other upright structures exhibit verticality, evoking a feeling of strength and solidity. In art and design, the use of vertical lines can suggest power, authority, and stability as they stand firm and resist external forces. Vertical lines provide a sense of balance and grounding to compositions, anchoring them with their inherent solidity. The next is diagonal line. Diagonal line creates an impression of action. Diagonal lines are dynamic and suggest movement or action. Unlike the static nature of horizontal and vertical lines, diagonal lines imply energy and direction, often leading the viewer's eye across the composition. They evoke a sense of motion, speed, or tension, resembling the trajectory of a moving object or the path of a force in action. In art and design, diagonal lines can be strategically employed to create a sense of drama, excitement, or urgency, injecting vitality and dynamism into visual narrative. The next one is curved line. Curved line creates an impression of gradual change of direction. It means that the curved lines flow smoothly and gracefully, suggesting a gentle transition or change in direction. In nature, curves are prevalent in organic forms such as rivers, clouds, and human bodies. In art and design, curved lines can convey a sense of fluidity, softness, and elegance. They are often used to depict natural shapes and create a sense of movement or rhythm within a composition. The last one is the circular line. Circular line creates an impression of abrupt change of direction. It means that circular lines abruptly change direction, creating a sense of sharpness or abruptness. Unlike curved lines, which transition smoothly, circular lines have a more pronounced change in direction, resembling the shape of a circle of art. In art and design, circular lines can evoke a feeling of tension, intensity, or suddenness, depending on their context and placement within the composition. If you're watching this, I hope that you understand the different meanings of different characteristics of lines. Moreover, lines can be classified into different types. The first one is the outlines. Outlines are made by the edge of an object or its silhouette. It means that the outlines delineate the outermost boundaries of an object, emphasizing its shape and form. In the statement, it defined the contour or perimeter of the subject, serving as a visual boundary that separates it from its surroundings. In art and design, outlines are often used as a preliminary guide for drawing or as a stylistic choice to highlight the distinctiveness of an object or figure. As you can see, there's a picture out there and that is one of the example of an outline. The next one is the contour lines. Contour lines describe the shape of an object and the interior detail. In the statement, it means that the contour lines follow the contours or curves of an object, providing a sense of its three-dimensional form and structure. They not only outline the outer edges, but also convey the internal features such as folds, wrinkles, or surface textures. In artistic practice, Contour lines are important for creating a depth and dimensionality, allowing artists to depict the volume and shape of subjects with accuracy and precision. The next one is the expressive lines. Expressive lines catch the movement and gestures of an active figure. From the statement, we can say that expressive lines capture the dynamic qualities of movement, gesture, and emotion in a subject, particularly in active figures or living beings. They convey the vitality, energy, and personality of the subject through fluid, gestural strokes. In figurative art, expressive lines are used to depict the rhythm and flow of motion, conveying a sense of life and spontaneity to the artwork. The next one is the sketch lines. Sketch lines capture the appearance of an object or impression of a place. It means that sketch lines are quick, loose, and spontaneous marks that capture the appearance or essence of an object, scene, or a place. They are characterized by their simplicity and immediacy, conveying a sense of freshness and directness in expression. In sketching and drawing, these lines are often used for preliminary studies, rough drafts, or rapid visual exploration, allowing artists to capture fleeting moments and impressions with ease. The next one is the calligraphic lines. When you say calligraphic lines, these are the elegant handwriting or lettering done by hand. It means that the calligraphic lines exhibit grace, fluidity, and rhythm, resembling the artful strokes of handwritten letters or ornate script. They are characterized by their precision, balance, and decorative quality. It is often used for decorative purposes or artistic expression. In calligraphy, the mastery of line variation, stroke weight, and letter form contributes to the creation of visually stunning compositions, imbuing them with a sense of elegance and sophistication. The last one is the implied lines. Implied lines are lines that are not actually drawn but created by a group of objects seen from a distance. It means that implied lines are suggested or inferred rather than explicitly drawn, emerging from the spatial relationships and alignments between objects or elements within a composition. They are formed by the visual connection or continuation of edges, contours, or patterns, creating a sense of connectivity and directionality. In art and design, implied lines play a subtle yet significant role in guiding the viewer's eye, establishing visual pathways, and unifying disparate elements within the composition.
Number two elements of arts is shape. Shape is an area that is enclosed by a line or lines. Shapes are two-dimensional figures with height and width. There are different kinds of shapes, and these are geometric shapes, organic shapes, positive shapes, negative shapes, static and dynamic shapes. An example of geometric shapes are circle, square, triangle, and rectangle and other geometric shapes. Organic shapes are shapes found in nature and are free-flowing, informal, and irregular. Organic shapes can be a leaves, tree, clouds, mountains, and many more. Positive shapes are the solid forms in a design. Negative shapes are the space around the positive shape. Let's consider this painting of a pointing hand. The hand is the actual object that was painted on the canvas, so the hand is the positive shape. The background or the space between the hand and the edges of the canvas is the space around the hand, so this is negative shape. Another type of shapes is static shape. Static shapes are shapes that appear stable and resting. One example of static is a square. The square is evenly balanced sides and right angles give it a sense of stability and stillness. Dynamic shapes are shapes that appears moving and active. An example of dynamic shapes is the sea waves.
Color is the enchanting spectacle that dances before our eyes, revealing the true essence of the world around us. It is the visual symphony that unfolds when light gracefully caresses an object, bouncing and shimmering, before finding its way into the depths of our very being. Through this wondrous interplay, color paints the canvas of our perception, infusing life and vibrancy into our everyday experiences. It is the language of beauty, the prism through which we witness the kaleidoscope of existence. So let us embrace the magic of color, for it is the gateway to a world where wonder and imagination intertwine, where every hue holds a story waiting to be told. Open your eyes and let the captivating journey of color begin. So, the third elements of art is the color. 'Di ba minsan may chances na natatanong tayo ng mga kahulugan ng mga bagay-bagay o mga salita na madali namang intindihin or alam naman natin kung ano ang salitang iyon, ngunit hindi natin alam kung papaano ba natin siya ipapaliwanag or hindi natin alam kung ano nga ba talaga ang tunay na kahulugan nito. Kagaya ng color, alam natin ang salitang ito, ngunit kapag tinatanong tayo kung ano ba ang kahulugan ng color, minsan nasasagot natin ay yung Tagalog niya, which is kulay. Hindi natin alam kung ano nga ba ang tunay na kahulugan nito. So ngayon, aalamin natin ang tamang kahulugan o yung tunay na kahulugan ng color para may idea tayo at may maisagot na kapag tinanong patungkol sa kahulugan nito. Color is one of the fundamental elements of art, and it refers to the visual perception of different wavelengths of light. So pag sinabi nating wavelength, it refers to the distance between two corresponding points of a wave of light. Colors are the way we see light reflected from a surface or refracted through a prism. Colors we see in nature are reflections of light on the surface around us. So in simple terms, colors is what we see when light reflects off an object and enters our eyes. Kapag nakakakita tayo ng kulay, iyon ay dahil sa kung paano nakikipag-interact ang light with objects. Light is made up of different colors like the colors of a rainbow. The colors of the rainbow is Roy G. Biv, di ba? Kung saan it stands for red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So kung saan ang red ay ang mas pinakamahabang wavelength and violet naman ang pinakamaiksi. So when the light shines on an object, some colors get absorbed by the object while others bounce off or are reflected back to our eyes. The colors that bounce off the object are the ones we see. For example, when we see a red apple, it's because the apple absorbs most of the colors in the light but reflects the red color back to our eyes. That's why it appears red to us. Similarly, when light passes through a prism, it gets bent or refracted and the different colors in the light spreads out. This creates a beautiful rainbow of colors. So in simpler terms, colors are the way we see light reflecting off objects or refracting through a prism. The colors we see in nature are the result of light bouncing off or passing through different surfaces. So, nakakagawa tayo ng maraming iba't ibang colors sa pamamagitan ng interactions of the primary colors. So, ano-ano nga ba yung mga primary colors na ito? Meron tayong tatlo. Ang mga yon ay ang colors red, blue, at yellow. So, sila yung mga primary colors. Sa pamamagitan ng pagko-combine or pagmi-mix ng mga primary colors na ito, ay nakakagawa tayo ng iba't ibang kulay gaya ng violet, orange, pink, green, gray, brown, at iba pa. Sa pamamagitan ng color wheel, maaari nating masuri at maunawaan kung paano nag-uugnay ang mga kulay sa isa't isa at kung paano natin maaaring gamitin ang mga ito upang lumikha ng mga maganda at balance na combination ng kulay sa mga likhang sining, disenyo at iba pang mga larangan. So may mga iba't ibang classification ng mga kulay and pag-aaralan natin yun siya gamit itong color wheel. Ang unang classification ng colors ay primary colors. So makikita natin dyan sa ating color wheel na yung sa triangle shape, yan sila yung mga primary colors. So ito na yung mga colors na red, blue, and yellow. Sa traditional color system, ang primary colors ay yung mga pangunahing kulay na hindi maaaring mabuo sa pamamagitan ng paghalo ng iba pang mga kulay. Halimbawa, ang red ay considered a primary color itself. So, we don't need to mix other colors to create red. So, kapag pinaghalo-halo naman natin itong primary colors, magagawa natin lahat ng mga colors sa color wheel. Sumunod ay yung secondary colors. Kapag gimix natin ang dalawang primary colors, magagawa natin yung mga secondary colors. Halimbawa, kapag gimix natin ang yellow at red, makakagawa tayo ng kulay orange. Kapag minix naman natin ang kulay blue at yellow, makakagawa tayo ng kulay green. At kapag minix naman natin ng kulay blue at red, makakagawa tayo ng kulay violet. So, ang kulay orange, green, at violet, sila yung mga secondary colors. Next classification of colors ay we have the tertiary colors. So, makakagawa tayo ng tertiary colors sa pamamagitan ng paghalo ng primary colors at secondary colors. In traditional color system, mayroon tayong 6 na tertiary colors kapag pinaghalo natin ang primary at secondary colors. Halimbawa, kapag pinaghalo natin ang red at secondary color na orange, magiging yellow-orange ito. Kapag pinaghalo naman natin ang yellow at green, magkakaroon tayo ng color yellow-green. Blue plus green, meron tayong blue-green. Blue plus violet, meron tayong blue-violet. At red plus violet, magkakaroon tayo ng kulay red-violet. So, sila-sila yung mga tertiary colors. Sumunod sa tertiary colors, we have the complementary colors. Those are pairs of colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel. In the traditional color system, the primary colors and their complementary pairs are red and green, blue and orange, and yellow and purple. So makikita naman natin dyan sa color wheel na the red is opposite green on the color wheel, the blue is complementary to orange, and yellow and purple are complementary colors. Sumunod sa complementary colors ay yung analogous colors. Sila naman yung mga colors na magkakapitbahay or magkakatabi sa color wheel. Tignan natin yung sa color wheel. Magkakapitbahay ang colors orange, red, orange, at red. Sumunod na set ay yung yellow, yellow, green, at green. Sumunod ay red, red, purple, purple, at blue, purple. Halimbawa ng analogous colors ay karaniwan nating nakikita sa paligid or sa ating kalikasan. For example, yung kulay ng sunset. Di ba ang mga kulay sa sunset, they are likely close to each other. Kumbaga, ang halimbawa ng analogous colors ay yung mga colors na gradient. Sumunod, meron tayong monochromatic colors. Ito naman yung mga kulay na may tint, tone, at shade. Tumutukoy naman ito siya sa isang color scheme na batay sa mga pagbabago ng isang single na kulay. Upang lumikha ng monochromatic color scheme, magsisimula ka sa isang base color at pagkatapos ay i-adjust ang kanyang brightness, saturation, or value upang makabuo ng iba't ibang mga variation. Halimbawa, kung pipiliin mo ang blue bilang iyong base color, maaari mong gamitin ang mga mas malalawak na shade ng blue tulad ng sky blue or baby blue, pati na rin ang mga mas madilim na shade tulad ng navy or midnight blue. Meron din tayong tinatawag na warm colors. So, by the name itself, ito yung colors na nakakapag-feel sa atin ng warm or kaginhawaan. So, ang mga warm colors ay nagbibigay ng isang mainit at malapit na pakiramdam. Ang mga ito ay madalas na nauugnay sa mga emosyonal na reaksyon tulad ng kasiyahan, sigla, at pagka-creative. Mga halimbawa ng warm colors ay una, color red. Ito ay kulay na nagpapahiwatig ng energy, pagsisimula at pagnanais. Ito rin ay maaaring magdulot ng mga emosyon tulad ng creativity, love or pag-ibig at galit. Pangalawa, sa halimbawa ng warm colors natin ay yung color yellow. Ito ay kulay na nagpapahiwatig ng kasiyahan, liwanag at positive energy. Ito ay madalas na nauugnay sa pag-asa, kasiyahan at pagiging positibo. Ang pangatlong halimbawa natin sa warm colors ay yung color orange. Ito ay kulay na nagpapahiwatig ng energy, init at pagkamalikhain. Ito ay madalas na nauugnay sa pagkamalikhain at pagiging aktibo. So, ang panghuli ay yung cool colors. Ang cool colors naman ay tumutukoy sa mga kulay na nagbibigay ng malamig at tahimik na pakiramdam through visuals. So, madalas itong nauugnay sa mga emosyonal na reaksyon tulad ng kapayapaan, kahusayan at depth. Halimbawa ng mga cool colors ay una, blue. Ito ay kulay na nagpapahiwatig ng kalinawan, kahusayan at kapayapaan. Ito ay madalas na nauugnay sa kalangitan, dagat, and also a sense of openness. Sumunod na halimbawa ay color green. So, ang color green, ito ay kulay na nagpapahiwatig ng kalikasan, paglago at kahusayan. Ito ay madalas na nauugnay sa mga halaman, kagubatan, at sa kapaligiran. Ang panghuli ay color purple or lila. So, this color conveys a sense of mystery, depth, and introspection. It is often associated with thoughtfulness, meditation, and creativity.
Good day, everyone. My name is Moed El Abes, one of the reporter of the Group 5, and now I will get to discuss you about the space and texture. So let us proceed to space. Space refers to distances or areas around, between or within components of a piece, and refers to the arrangement of objects on the picture plane two-dimensional. So, in the context of visual arts, space is a fundamental element that denotes the distance or areas around, between, or within components of a piece of art, meaning, ang space ang nagbibigay kung gaano kalayo ang pagitan ng mga object na iyong ilalagay sa iyong artwork para magmukha itong kaaya-aya sa mga mata ng viewers. Or to make it short or briefly, space involves the way objects are arranged in an artwork. It's a way to give a sense of depth and dimension in two-dimensional artwork. So we have two types of space in visual arts. we have positive space and negative space. So I have a picture or drawing here, and we will find where are the positives and negative space on that drawing. But before we go start, first let us define what is positive and negative space para para mahanap kung saan ang negative space and positive space sa drawing na yan. Let us first define what is positive space. Positive space refers to a part which is enclosed in a shape, meaning positive space is the area or region that is occupied by the main subject or object in an artwork. It is the, it is the space that is visually dominant and attracts the viewer's attention. Positive space is created by the shapes, forms, or objects within the composition. Positive space is important in creating a sense of balance, harmony, and visual interest in an artwork. It helps to define the shapes and forms, and it can convey meaning or evoke emotions depending on a subject matter. And by using or emphasizing the positive space, artists can create a focal point and guide the viewer's eye to the most important parts of the image. So, by defining what is positive space, we can say that the positive space on that drawing is the building itself, because that was the main subjects or objects in that artwork. Now, let us define what is a negative space. Negative space refers to the opposite part which the shape is enclosing. Negative space refers to the empty or unoccupied area surrounding the positive space. It is the space between and around the object or subjects. Basically speaking, ang negative space, it represents the background of an artwork or the area that surrounds the object or shape in the artwork. So by defining what is negative space, we can say that the negative space on that drawing is yung mga empty or unoccupied areas that surround the positive space. Moreover, perspective is a technical means by which we perceive distance in painting, by which we are made to see the position of object in space. The concept of perspective is a technique that artists use to add depth and dimension to their work. It's how they perceive the distance and position in their paintings or drawings. So we have two types of perspective, the one-point perspective and the two-point perspective. So in one-point perspective, we perceive that the position of object meets one point on the horizontal line, meaning one-point perspective is a drawing method that shows how things appear to get smaller as they get further away, converging towards a single vanishing point on the horizontal line or horizon line. So, I have example here. Kung mapapansin nyo sa drawing, yung road is habang papalayo or papunta sa pinaka-edge ng drawing called the vanishing point ay parang lumiliit at nawawala ito and creates a three-dimensional artwork. So, let's proceed to the two-point perspective. In two-point perspective, we perceive that the position of objects meets a two-point on the horizontal line. In this type of perspective, lines converge to 2 points on the horizon. This is often used when a subject is viewed from a corner on an angle. Basically speaking, two-point perspective is lines that converge on two vanishing points. So, I have example here. Kung mapapansin nyo sa drawing, is naviview siya in the corner or angle. And there is a two vanishing point sa gilid ng drawing. Creates an three-dimensional or realistic images. So, the purpose of this two perspective is to create a realistic impression of depth and present dramatic or disorienting images. Let us proceed to the texture. Texture is the element that appeals to our sense of feel on things rough or smooth, bumpy or slippery. It is the character of the surface of an artwork. So, texture in art refers to how things feel or look like they might feel if touched. It adds depth and detail to artwork. So, we have two types of texture. the real texture and the implied texture. Real texture is the actual texture of an object artists may create. Real texture in art to give it visual interest or evoke a feeling. So, ang real texture, this is the actual feel of the artwork. Ang example lang nito is sculpture. Sculpture may have a rough texture that you can physically touch and feel because we all know that sculpture is carved in solid surface, meaning you can touch it physically. So, the second types of texture is the implied texture. Implied texture made a piece of artwork look like a certain texture. Like a drawing of tree trunk may look rough, but in fact it is smooth of piece of paper. So implied texture, this is when the artwork looks like it has a certain texture, but it is just an illusion. So, ang example lang ng implied texture is yung mga 3D na drawing. Na kung titignan mo sa malayuan, akala mo is totoo and have a rough texture. But kapag nilapitan mo, it is just an piece of paper and have a smooth texture. And it is just an illusion.
Good day, mom and classmates. I am Ayana A. Sulaiman, and for my turn, I'll be discussing value and form. First, let's delve into the concept of value. Value in the context of art pertains to the lightness or darkness of a color in a given artwork. It's an essential element in creating the illusion of light, depth, and volume in a piece of art. It brings life to what may otherwise be a flat and uninteresting image. Value can be modified by adding white or black to a color. When we add white to a color, we create what is known as a tint. Tints increase the lightness of a color, making it less intense and more delicate. For instance, if we add white to red, we get pink, a lighter, softer version of red. On the other hand, when we add black to a color, we create a shade. Shades increase the darkness of a color, making it deeper and more intense. For example, adding black to green results in a darker, more forest-like green. Moving on, form refers to the three-dimensionality of an object, encompassing dimensions of height, width, and length. It's what gives an artwork a sense of volume and depth, making it appear more realistic. Form is not just limited to sculptures or installations, but is also a critical aspect of two-dimensional artworks like paintings and drawings. Artists use techniques like shading, perspective, and foreshortening to create the illusion of form on a flat surface.
Rhythm and movement are intertwined in music, dance, and every activities. Rhythm provides structure and flow, while movement involves physical motion. They combine to create engaging experiences, guiding dance choreography, and inspiring body responses. Walking, clapping, and nodding to a beat showcase their presence in daily life. Together, they enhance expression and creativity. Ang rhythm na tinatawag na ritmo at ang movement naman ay galaw o kilos. Ang ritmo at galaw ay mahalagang bahagi ng iba't ibang anyo ng arts and life. Ang ritmo ay tumutukoy sa pattern ng mga tunog at musikang tula o iba pang mga likhang sining, habang ang galaw ay nagpapahiwatig ng physical na pagkilos o progression.
Balance refers to the visual weight in a picture. It refers to the even distribution of position of elements in an artwork. The principle of balance can be symmetrical or asymmetrical. Symmetrical balance refers to an artwork wherein its both sides has the same elements in the same position. Symmetrical balance occurs when elements are evenly distributed around a central axis, creating a sense of stability and harmony. Think of it like a mirror image where both sides are identical or very similar. So, ito ay may formal na uri ng balanse, magkakatulad ng itsura na makikita sa kaliwa at sa kanang bahagi nito. A symmetrical balance refers to an artwork wherein it's balanced through the contrast or differences of any of the elements of art. A symmetrical balance, on the other hand, involves distributing elements unevenly but still achieving equilibrium through various means, such as contrasting colors, size, or textures. It's like balancing a large object with several smaller ones on the other side. So, ito ay hindi formal na balanse, magkaiba ang itsura na makikita sa kaliwa at sa kanang bahagi nito. So, let's proceed with the proportion. Proportion refers to the relationship of the size of object in a body of work. Proportion in art and design refers to the relative size, scale, and arrangement of elements within a composition. Kabilang dito ang mga ugnayan sa pagitan ng iba't ibang bahagi ng isang kabuuan, tulad ng laki ng mga bagay na may kaugnayan sa isa't isa at sa kanilang paligid. Maintaining proper proportion is crucial for creating harmony, balance, and visual interest in a piece of artwork or design. Nakakatulong itong gabayan ang mata ng manunood at lumikha ng pagkiramdam ng pagkakaisa at pagkakaugnay-ugnay. Ang mga artist at designer ay madalas na gumagamit ng mga diskarte tulad ng scaling, perspective at ratio upang makamit ang proporsyon sa kanilang trabaho. Halimbawa, kung nagbinta ka ng larawan ng isang aso at isang tao, ang aso ay dapat nasa tamang sukat na may kaugnayan sa tao. Ang katawan ng tao at pati na rin ang aso ay dapat na nasa proporsyon sa kung ano ang magkikilala natin bilang isang tao. Sa pangkalahatan, ang sukat at proporsyon ay nakakatulong sa manonood na maunawaan ang likhang sining.
Good day everyone, my name is Rabaiha Iwali and my report is Contrast and Variety. Contrast. This principle shows differences between elements of art in an artwork. It shows how stronger each element of art in relation to one another. Contrast is a fundamental concept in various fields including art, design, photography, literature, and science. It refers to noticeable difference between elements in a composition or between two or more things. Contrast can be defined as the noticeable difference or opposition between two or more elements, qualities, or situations. It involves highlighting disparities, distinctions, or variation, whether in terms of color, texture, size, shape, brightness, sound, or any other attribute. Let's move on to variety. Variety, this principle of art refers to the diversity or the different elements used in an artwork to make it more interesting. Variety refers to the presence of diversity, multiplicity, or a range of different elements within a composition, system, or context. It can manifest in numerous forms including but not limited to color, shape, size, texture, pattern, rhythm, and style. In any given situation or a creative endeavor, variety refers to the presence of diversity and the absence of the monotony. It's about introducing differences, contrasts, or alternatives that add richness, complexity, and depth to the overall experience.
Number 7 principle of art is emphasis. What is emphasis? Emphasis refers to the greater impact or highlight given to a certain element in an artwork. It is achieved through various elements such as color, contrast, size, shape, and placement. Emphasis in artwork is the principle of design that focuses on creating a focal point or center of interest within the composition. By using emphasis, artists can guide the viewer's eye to a specific area of the artwork, highlighting important elements and creating a visual hierarchy. This helped to create a sense of balance and harmony in the composition, as well as adding a depth and dimension to the overall design. Emphasis can be used to draw attention to certain details, convey a specific mood or message, or create a sense of movement and rhythm in the artwork. It plays a crucial role in enhancing the overall impact and effectiveness of the artwork, making it visually engaging and memorable for the viewer. Let's consider the example in the given picture. So the contrast of the umbrellas against the Sol Raid umbrella creates a striking visual impact in the artwork. The repetition of the black umbrella serves to highlight the uniqueness and importance of the red umbrella, drawing the attention to it and making it the focal point of the composition.